Welcome to DM POV. This is a series of videos where I rant about things that I have experienced in the past as a DM and a player. Even though it's a video series called DM POV. Whatever, you get the point. This is a story of fun can come from anywhere. And even though as a DM you'll have everything planned out and ready and stuff, especially when it comes to dealing with new players and introducing new players to a game, what? Plans can go straight out the window. But the main point of the game is to just have fun, you know? My first RPG that I really learned how to DM as well as started playing. It's called the Dragon Age RPG system from a publishing company called Green Ronin Publishing. And they used a system called Fantasy Age RPG for one of my old and beloved fantasy worlds, Dragon Age. Fantasy Age uses a 3d6 system where 2 dice are the same color, but 1 dice is a different color. Or it's an offset color or something like that, just to make sure you know what dice is what. But the whole point of this, the 3d6 system is that whenever you roll doubles, you get something called stunt points, and your stunt points are generated based off of what that offset color die is. And then you have a little chart of different cool little abilities you can use, about what you can do in combat. Sometimes they're story or they're maybe conversational outside of combat based abilities that you can, kind of use and make your hero look all cool and whatever. For me, that was my first love. I didn't know a lot of people that was into D&D at the time. And a friend of ours got us into it after discovering it, and then we just went ham, and that's pretty much was my intro to the tabletop RPG universe out there. For this, getting back on topic, this was a story about myself being the DM of this story for this Dragon Age campaign. And it was just a one-shot, quick, in and out kind of little story, introduction story for 2 of my little brother and my coworkers. Back in the day, my little brother and I, we worked as baggers on a military base, and we had a couple coworkers that we always hung out with on breaks and stuff like that. And during this time, like we were talking about tabletop RPGs and how much we love Dragon Age, and these friends, obviously, they just get curious and they're like, what is this? What is this, a video game you guys are playing? I'm like, well, yes, it is, and no, it isn't. And we started talking to them, and we got them to come on over to our place and say, hey, we'll run a one shot. We'll build up some BS characters. You guys can make them look however you want, whatever class. These are the classes you can play as. And I already have a storyline ready for you guys to play, and we're just gonna rip it and call it a day. And we're gonna have fun. And they're like, oh, hell yeah. So we got drinks, food, all that good stuff. So the story in mind that I have is a very, I don't know if I copied this storyline from someone else, and it's someone else's one shot, but it kind of has the 5-room dungeon concept to it, where it's supposed to be a very simple in and out story, but it's just interesting enough that it has a little twist at the end, or in the middle of the story, that makes it so it's like, oh hey, there's more than meets the eye to the story and stuff like that. And especially for dark fantasy storylines, this is my go-to favorite one. And it starts off as you have your players, preferably at least 3 or 4 players. And the goal is whatever village area they start off at, or blah, 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 blah. There's gonna be some type of mission board, or not a mission board. They get tasked. The party gets tasked with, hey, we have an issue about these wolves coming onto our farmlands and they're messing with our livestock. Please help us, oh, you know. And here's, the town sheriff will give out a little baggie of goodies and oh, please help us for travelers. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Literally just a one-shot BS little cutesy whatever story. And it literally involves going out into the woods and hunting down wolves. It's your classic, hey, your first mission, you need to collect 10 wolf pelts and bring it back. You know, that's literally what it is. And from there on, the story, how it's supposed to go, is there's a little bit of investigative stuff you gotta do. Maybe there's some tracking roles that the party has to do. And, you know, the timeline of the story takes about a 2 to 3 days in game. While they're doing it, maybe there's some bandits they encounter and they're like, oh crap, and blah, 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 blah. Maybe they can talk their way out and stuff. But they're trying to track these wolves, and that's what it comes down to. And there's a big old pack of wolves that they're looking for. Eventually, the twist in the story, they get to the place where the wolves should be. And it's like, oh, okay, where's the wolves at? The wolves should be right here. This is their wolf den. This is where are they at? Oh, that's weird. And then you'll notice, and eventually the twist that as a DM you could do is, oh, surprise! The wolves have actually been killed and their bodies are everywhere. What the hell's going on? And the players are like, what? And eventually I'll reveal that this will be lead into combat of some sort. And there will be, in Dragon Age, they call them Sylvans, I believe? Or that I'm getting my lores mixed up. Treebeard, literally, just angry Treebeard people, Ents. One of them just happens to be there, and they mess around with the tree so much that the tree kind of gets angry and goes, "Argh!" And they got to fight the tree, and they're like, oh, I wasn't ready to fight an animated tree. Oh my God! Oh. They gotta find out a way to, you know, get away from the tree, or most likely they're gonna burn down the tree or fight the tree or the animated tree. Oh. Sometimes I'll put variations to this story where, oh, like, you know, maybe there's a witch that has been animating these trees, and she's doing something. This time it wasn't that. It was just like we had, like, you know, we had 4 hours to mess around with them to, you know, hang out at our place. So it's just gonna quick run, get in, reveal, all right, get back with wolf pelts and say, oh, we totally killed him, you know. This is what happened with our story. Just for not trying to dox people, I guess, I'm gonna call and say my little brother, J1 and J2. They were brothers. They both had J's in their names. So I nicknamed them JoJo a lot because I like JoJo. So what happened was we made our characters, and I already tasked my little brothers. Like my little brother hasn't played this specific story yet because he was already a veteran player at that point. And I went ahead and told my little brothers, like, hey, like, be sure to, like, help guide them as a player on what they can do and stuff like that. But I'll also help them out just in case to reiterate or anything. It's like, okay, cool. We get along. We start the storyline. Oh man, cut this part out.
No.
This story took place in a small village, I believe, called Southreach. It's been a while since I've had to do my Dragon Age lore research, so correct me in the comments. But in the Southreach area, it borders the Brazilian Forest, where the Brazilian Forest happens to have a lot of magical, ancient elfin crap, and elf this, elf that, you know, that's kind of 80% of Dragon Age lore. And so it works out. It's like, oh, there's a town there. The story is, hey, there's wolves that are messing with the livestock. Help us. Oh, okay, go into the forest, this enchanted forest, Brazilian forest. This is what happened. So eventually I get to the point where I tell them, hey, so what your guys' goal for this session, you need a way to make some money. Really quick, easy money. And you know that this village of Southreach, there's always an odd job ready around the corner. So go see if you can get it. And you know, my little brother, he's like, all right, cool. We'll lead the party there. You know, he's playing along with the game and stuff like that. Eventually, they get the mission.
No.
I lied. I don't think they ever got the mission because I had an odd job board nearby a chantery. And the chantry was asking for travelers or visitors to take care of this problem for them. And there was a like a 10 silver prize for it. So my little brother, he's going the right direction and going that, playing the game. And then J1 and J2, the brothers, they're just kind of like, so you can do anything in this game? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, like you can do anything in this game. It just depends on how good you can pull it off is based off of your die rolls and stuff like that. And I can't remember which brother it was, but I want to say it was the older brother of the two. He goes, is there we need to go get some gear, right? It's like, oh yeah, sure. Let's. There's a armor smith nearby. You can buy your armors and weapons from there. And it's like, okay, cool. They go there. They have a little bit of pocket change. They can get a little extra couple things with. I was expecting that at least. And then older brother JoJo was like, you know what? They have all these wares around here. Can I steal it? And I was like, I mean, it's Dragon Age, the dark fantasy RPG. I don't see why not. You can do that if you want to, but, make sure not to get caught. And so he starts stealing things while the other brother is like, oh, maybe I'll distract him. I'll distract him and talk to him over here. And you start stealing things on the other side. And literally their system, and then of course my little brother was like, all right, I'm going to play into this too. And I'm like, you mother...
This is brilliant, but I like this.
Okay, whatever. I guess we're stealing things from the first village we go to, whatever. Literally the way the shop is set up is where, they have like different things hanging behind counters, and they have different like areas. Like there's one of those big old barrels that has like, like short swords and whatever, knives and stuff in it. It's like, whatever you need, it's right there. Literally their system of stealing things was they would have the shopkeep's attention over here, and on the opposite side of their room, they would be stealing things. And they kept doing that all the way around the store. They were they robbed this armor smith, this weapon armor smith, they rob him blind. And at a certain point, I'm like, okay, this guy is gonna wise up naturally and go, where did all my goods go? Is it one of you guys? And eventually a failed persuasion roll was there, and instead of just like, oh crap, give it back, or oh crap, run away, one of the brothers goes, can I kill him?
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
I was like, what? You know what? Dark fantasy. Let's do it. Give me a roll. And this is they don't have nat 20s in the Dragon or the Fantasy Age system, but he got the equivalent of that with triple sixes on 3d6s. So he pretty much mustered out as many crazy extra damage as he can and just kills the guy. And they're like, all right, cool, we got his stuff. And I was just like, well, there's other people about to enter the store. What are you guys gonna do? And they're like, oh, okay, maybe we can shove the body in a corner and stuff like that. And they're like, are there lanterns in the store? And I was like, well, yeah, they have lanterns there. They're like, okay, cool, we're gonna turn them on and we're gonna smash them. We're gonna burn this bitch. It's like, whoa, what? Oh, okay, all right, we're just gonna go with this. And this entire time I'm like, okay, am I being too cool of a DM and just letting anything happen? There has to be consequences. So I said, you know what? Screw it. Eventually, this town is just big enough that it's like, yeah, we get a lot of travelers, but there's enough people to know and walk around and know that, like, hey, if there's something weird going on, they're gonna make it obvious. So they start seeing the smoke of the armor weapon shop there, and they're like, oh no, that's not good. So of course there's gonna be guards coming up to the shop there and going, oh my God, what's going on? And they're gonna start breaking down the stores and stuff like that. At a certain point, this is where I've also this is the same session I found out that my little brother really goes for the pizzazz of going out there and really giving a good acting job of he goes out to the front and he's just like, oh my God, there's so much shit that happened, and oh my God, there's things burning and the guy's dead, and and while he's doing that, the other brothers, they're like, hey, there's a back entrance to this place, right? And I'm like, well, there's gotta be. Of course there is. That's probably the back exit entrance area where the smithy was, or the smithery equipment was stuff located at. Of course, they're like, okay, well, Tristan's gonna go do that. We're gonna go in the back and we're gonna escape out the back with all the stuff. And granted, yeah, it's a bunch of, they didn't acquire any like crazy strong goods. It's just a bunch of generic weapons that they procured themselves, as well as robbing whatever extra coins this guy managed to make over the course of his lifetime in Southreach there. And of course, my brother, he's given a great performance. He's rolling the equivalent of nat 20s on performance and stuff like that. And I'm just like, and I'm just at this point, it's like I'm just respecting the roles at this point, and I'm trying my best to ensure that like I'm respecting the roles that he's making and the great performance he's doing on like subverting like, oh, we're not the bad guys. There's someone else in there. There's still probably in there. Eventually, they all made it out scot-free. I eventually made it to where the entire village of Southreach burned because of the smithy catching fire. And all of these people's lives are just completely ruined, and you guys made off with the equivalent of 50 to 75 silvers worth of general goods and weapons.
Anyway, you guys all think I'm a hero.
And that was the entire story. As we were playing, the reason why I didn't kind of do the, rocks fall, everyone dies, whatever, was because we were all having a blast doing this. And my expectation was, hey, this is what we got. And I already got one secret player that's kind of helping me with the story to play along with it. But instead, just everything goes out the fucking window. And it was fun. And it turned out like, hey, it's a dark fantasy RPG. You can be an asshole. You can be a villain. You can be both. That's exactly what they did. And we all had a blast. They put in their acting chops too, if they could, on figuring out like, hey, how do we converse with this shopkeep to keep him occupied and prevent him from, looking behind him and find out that someone's stealing all of his inventory behind him. Yeah, and again, this was back when I was still like, I don't want to consider myself a veteran at being a DM. And I'm also not an expert in, shopkeep designs and stuff like that too. But yeah, I could have done a little better with the setup, and maybe there could have been more than one shopkeep owner in this small little town and stuff like that. But again, all four of us, we had a blast, and that sticks in my mind more than anything else. And that's the most important thing about tabletop RPGs. It's not a card game where the goal is to win. It's not your typical game of chess, your board games where it's like the goal is, again, to win. The goal for a tabletop RPG, yeah, you gotta win. Sometimes you lose. But at the end of the day, everyone has their own form of fun. And I think that's the most important thing to get out of a tabletop RPG. If you just didn't have fun, well, it's like, well, you lost. You lost the point of the tabletop RPG. You're not having fun. Womp womp. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for listening to my rantings. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be continue on with this DM POV series with a lot more storylines and stuff. Personally, I am not a DM for D&D 5th edition. I have been a player of it multiple times. However, nowadays, my love is the cipher system. Numenera, and the Cipher system, as you can tell with my beautiful little poster back here. That's definitely not folded and shows creases or anything like that. Yeah, Cipher system and Numenera is my go-to, but what got me into tabletop RPGs was Dragon Age's Fantasy Age RPG system. So, beyond that, again, the main goal for a tabletop RPG session is to have fun. If you ain't having fun, you're losing. So, thank you. Have a good night.